What's up, Tube? Welcome back to Loguido's Chop Shop, the second best Gel Blaster Battle Mech channel on the tubes. And we are at the point now where we start to get Gel Blastery on this mech. So, let me get this out of the way. Clear desk. Alright, if you saw the thumbnail in the first video I did, then you've probably got an idea of what I kind of hope to make this thing look like. I've sort of mocked up a bit of a rough CAD example of what I think I'm going to need. I've got these posts here holding up a another plate which is kind of similar to the original design of the bodywork of the mech, and then I've got like a turret design that I've kind of just mocked up. And yeah, I guess there's gonna be a lot of designing in this phase. I'll start with designing the posts, the standoffs to hold the plate. My plan is to utilize some of the holes that are already in the design of this body plate. Some of the holes on the top and the bottom line up, so I'm making this post to fit in. Once I've got the posts sort of mocked up, I'm gonna redesign the bottom plate of the mech to be basically a little platform on which I can mount the turret. So I'm just going to take the bottom plate design and I'm going to modify it slightly, just make it a bit shorter, cut the edges off, add some bits in the middle for a bit of support. Now I'm using Tinkercad here, which is a very basic online CAD program that you can just go onto in your browser and just CAD up some stuff. It's very basic, and it's basically using addition and subtraction of shapes. So what I've done here is I've duplicated the bottom plate, and then I've subtracted half of it from one side and half of the other piece that I duplicated from the other side, and now I'm just going to bring them in and join them together to make the same thing but smaller, essentially. That works. I'm going to fill in those top holes where the posts are, so that I can just put a small screw hole there. And again, I'm going to do that just by addition of some rectangles into those spots. You can see the hole in the post doesn't line up perfectly with the center because I haven't perfectly aligned those posts in the CAD yet, but that's easily done. I'll just do that afterwards. Right now I'm just working on whacking a cube up into this spot here so that it will fill up that hole, and then I'll make a small hole for that screw. This is the gearbox that I'm going to be using. This is actually a STD 5S gearbox from way back in the day. I've chosen to use this over any other gearbox because of its compact design, and it's like the inline compact design. It'll fit nicely inside a turret, and it'll gravity feed as well. This gearbox, or a variation of this gearbox, slightly different with the motor angle, is still utilized today in the STD, I think it's a C09 or CS09. It's the hopper fed 1911, M1911 that kicks around. They're usually quite cheap from Gel Blaster shops, and one of the cool things about those is that they have a good fire rate and they're gravity feed, so they're pretty simple and easy. So yeah, I've taken some measurements of this gearbox. I already had a rough design of what I wanted to do with the turret, or at least where I wanted to start off, and I've basically taken the measurements of the gearbox and made some a little block diagram of it that I'm just going to press into the side shape of my turret design, and subtract that from the shape, and then that should give me a nice spot where I can seat the gearbox, I guess. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. I might need to make some changes along the way, but it's all a learning experience, so we'll go from there. Yeah, something like that. I might have to resize and shape the thing. That tank that's on top of the turret was supposed to be my gravity feed gel ball hopper, but obviously it's in the wrong spot, so I'll need to move it forward so it sits above the T-piece. I'll probably have to trim that T-piece down a little bit as well so that it fits inside there. But that's basically kind of what I'm going for. So I've printed off this top plate that the turret will mount onto. I actually printed off additional extensions because my original design of extension was it was the right size, but I added another 15 mils to the height just to give it a little bit more clearance, because while there was enough clearance to clear the board and the headers and everything, having a bit of wire flex and stuff in there was yeah, I just gave it some more clearance, plus a little bit of height. I think works well. I also printed off this original turret design, half of it, with the cutout in place. Now this was an early model, so I've melted a few bits and pieces which were not quite right for the gearbox fit, but it does fit in there. However, I decided that the scale of that wasn't quite right, so I've scaled it up a bit and modified the actual print to basically to fix up the errors that or oversights, I guess, that I had from the original smaller one, and that actually fits in there quite well. This turret is only a very thin print. You can see in some areas here it's actually just not quite printed correctly because it's so thin. It's only like one layer thick, and I did that because A, I wasn't sure if it was going to fit and I didn't want to waste my time on my filament, and B, I wanted it to be lightweight as well, so when it is on, it'll be lightweight, and if it gets destroyed, then you know, it's all part of it. I also added a little bit of a funnel design into the front here of the turret, and I've got the other half which fits on there. There is like maybe a millimeter of tolerance, so I might have to just slightly heat up the print and press this in, because my measurements that I took maybe were too tight, and there's little details like these circles where the shafts poke out a little bit more on this side than there is on the other side. There's not that, and I do think the box has a slight taper to it as well, so I might just need to make some adjustments to account for that. But I also have a little tank which sits there, which will funnel down into my funnel. I don't know if you can see down in there, the lighting's not that great down there. But I did have a slight print error there. There's like a bit of string going across. The reason is because I think this design actually has a lean on it. It leans back slightly, and I cut the hole kind of straight, I think, and the tank's got a lean, and I ended up with a little bit of a lip down here. Anyway, nothing up, can't clean up a little bit of a file, and that will go on top there. So we'd be looking something like that, and there's a little cap which goes on top. The turret now, like the actual gun, is a little bit small, so I'm probably going to put a external tube on that and then get that mounted up onto this plate. I did think about leaving a hole in the middle here for the wires, and in terms of attaching it on, that actual hole will line up with one of these holes, and then I'll be able to, I'll probably just screw this on. I've got some little screw holes here and here, self tappers, they'll do. So I've just printed some more goodies for myself here, or for my robot, I guess. I got a hop up here, and just a tube that's going to give my turret a bit more of a business-like appearance. And also the hop up has the added benefit of being a hop up. So that's going to add a little bit of style and function. I think that looks pretty cool. I like that. I like that. And of course it's going to have the hopper on top here, and that looks good. I like that. I think I might actually just print off some like 1 or 2 layer sheets that'll clip across this top section just to neaten it up a bit, because I might even when I designed these, I didn't design any hardware locations or anything for like attaching these 2 halves together. I was just these were very much a you know, still in the design phase of things. Just to get this operational, I might even just print off some vanity panels, I think, or something to just slip on the top there, and also to assist holding the 2 halves together. But that's pretty nice. I like it. I'm planning on triggering my cannon off of pressing a PS2 controller button, probably the R2 trigger button, because that feels good for me. I'm going to trigger a relay off of the Arduino. So I'm just going to need to alter the code a little bit. First I'm going to just define a constant for shoot, and I'm going to assign that to pin 13. I'm doing that because it's got a built-in LED on the Arduino, and also because it'll make it easier later on if I want to change that to a different pin. I only have to change it once in the code, and then every other time I've said shoot in the code it will change. So just save me a bit of time later on. And I'll set that pin mode for shoot to an output. And now I'm going to add the code for the actual PS2 controller. So I'm basically saying if the PS2 button pressed R2, then digital write a high to that pin. Else digital write pin shoot low. So basically, if I'm not pressing the button, it'll be off. And that actually reminds me, I should probably just up here, after I've defined the shoot, I should just tie it low straight away, just so that it's not accidentally high on boot up or something like that. Just do that. And I just put a comment in there just saying that's to shoot. Now the code already has something defined for those R2 buttons, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm going to change this to R3 because I want to capture the offsets with R3, and I've forgotten a bracket, so go through the code and fix that up. Alright, that should be good to go now, and I'll upload that to my Hexapod. Alright, so I've got the code loaded onto my Hexapod. You might notice there's a little bit missing here. One of my servo motors went wild for some reason. It just started on its own, just sort of going like a windscreen wiper, just going zoop, 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 zoop. I don't know I don't know why. Whether it was like just one faulty one or whether I did something to blow it up, or not sure, but that happened. I'll get another one, no problems. Waiting for that to arrive. Also still waiting on the relay that's going to trigger this anyway. So for the moment I'll just pop that off, and let's have a look down here. Alright, just going to connect the power up. Got my PS2 controller here, got the sync light there, light here. Now the LED just down in here is the one that I assigned to the shoot button, which is R2 in this case. So when I press this R2 button, I should get a LED light lighting up there, and fingers crossed. Hey! So that works. Now all I have to do when I get my relay, I've actually put another set of headers just here in place, ready for my relay. So I just have to reassign in the code this pin to be my relay instead of that LED, and hopefully when I pull this trigger, the relay should trigger the blaster, the motor in the blaster. Yeah, I think that's as far as I can go for now, because I'm still waiting for the relay to arrive, and I'm still waiting on another servo motor to replace that one that died randomly. So I think I'm going to have to leave it here for now. I'll just zoom out. I'll show you a bit more about my turret, and then we'll call it a day. Alright, so I've got my turret here with my feet that interface into those holes there. I've screwed the base plate to the bottom of the turret with self-tapping screws. I've just screwed them in there, and I've super glued the heads of those self-tapping screws so that they don't accidentally come loose and drop on onto the electronics. maybe I'll make some sort of cover or something for that later on, just to stop things from falling on it, particularly metal things that might upset the electronics. I've also just driven a long M4 bolt through the front of this just to hold the two halves together. Pretty sort of haphazard kind of stuff here. And then I've on the top here for the little tank, I actually printed a little plate, a top plate that just fits onto the top of this, and then I have glued the little tank to the top plate, and then I've just screwed down the top plate with the tank on it onto the top of the turret. And the way that this interfaces around here, around these curves, it actually just presses in there and fits perfectly at the back, so it won't lift at the back, and the screws stop it from lifting at the front. Alright, well, I'll leave it there for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, patches are available. Hit me up on Facebook, Loguito's Chapters face page. And also, if you like what I'm doing and you want to buy me a coffee, in the link below, you can buy me a coffee down there. And cheers to my coffee supporters, Adam Hoy and Ray Brabants. Cheers for the coffees. Catch you next time. Peace.